judging from myself, when I watch these films, I go and I do a lot of research about, the true facts and all these things. I find it fascinating, this world of the paranormal, what's true, what's not, etc. Do you have this kind of candid enthusiasm about it as well? You want to know what's real, what's not, what's...
Yeah, I definitely, I definitely do to some degree. I am fascinated by it. Clearly, I'm somewhat terrified by it, which is why I think I tell these films. But I definitely do think that these movies with this particular theme really sort of hit something that resonates for a lot of us, and it's something that I think a lot of people. Whether or not you're spiritual, or religious, I think these films kind of speak to a big chunk of the population on this planet, and then the ones that are not believers of this world, then that's my job as a film director to at least entertain them at a cinematic level.
Absolutely, and you also make their imagination work, which is also very important in supernatural thrillers, because the more you see, the less you're scared, I feel. So how much do you play with that?
Yeah, I think it's a real balance. I think, my job is to kind of decipher what I should show the audience and what I should hold back.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would, hold back certain things, but yet show other stuff for sort of different purposes to try and elicit, emotions when they need it to be pulled out of the audience. So it's a bit of a balance.
Why were Patrick and Vera from the start so good at pulling out the mystique in the Warrens?
Well, I had worked with Patrick before, and I just love working with a guy, and so the opportunity to work with Patrick again was really cool, and I've been a fan of Vera Farmiga for a long time, and I've always wanted to work with her, and I just felt like. I felt like, her sensibility, and Vera just has this really sort of like spiritual quality about her, even just down to the way she looks and the way she would look at things, and I really I really wanted to straight away when you look at Vera, you can't believe that she's someone who has psychic abilities to look through to another dimension. And so I love the contrast between the sort of more grounded and more everyday blue-collar approach of Patrick to his character, with Vera, who tends to be Vera's character, which is a lot more spiritual. And between the two of them, I just thought it would make for a really interesting dynamic. But I am just very lucky that that those two have such great chemistry together, and it just takes it to a whole different level.
It's strange. She's got this undecipherable thing in her eyes that is kind of quite.
It's magical. Yeah, it's like you get hypnotized by the way she looks at you.
So we're talking a bit about Amityville horror in this one. How much do you think the story has scope to also develop? Obviously there's been other movies, but in The Conjuring we're kind of seeing another side of this story.
Yeah, obviously I had to touch upon the most famous case that the Warrens have investigated in their career. And this is the case that put them on the map, made them famous. And so I knew I wanted to go there. And we also hinted at it at the end of the first Conjuring film.
Yes.
And so we wanted to go there. But at the same time, I felt it was a story that's been told so many times before. And I want to tell it more from the perspective of the Warrens, as opposed to from the perspective of the victims, like the previous movies. And so it has a very different sort of outlook to that world. And so I want to show it from their world, but at the same time don't deal too much in it because it's been done to death.
That's true. But they have a lot of cases to their names as well. So are you secretly hoping that it does as well as the first one so you can tackle, and have you already chosen in your head which ones you could tackle next?
I like to not think about the next. I'm a bit superstitious, but if we're lucky enough to have a next chapter, I think it's very organic, and they do have a lot of other stories to explore.